Well, thank you for coming back on my show, Larry.
Great to be back.
Yeah, this is your second time on my show. You can correct me, but now tell a little bit brief details about your acting career.
Well, let's see. I I'm based in LA, and I've been here for going on 12 years now. Probably this is 23. I got here the end of 2011. So 12-ish years. I'm from the East Coast, and always wanted to be an actor. And finally, I just thought, what the
Hmm.
heck? And I'm out here and just going for the dream, and that's it. My IMDb page, it's kind of summarizes what I've done so far, and uh, yeah, I've had the same agent for several years now, the Wayne Agency. Uh, my former manager, she was great, Kate Fluke, and we parted, amicably. And I think she has her own new company now. And I'm with a trial manager now, Jacqueline Ansuri of Pelican Point Media. And I had the feeling that she has done a lot in the business just based on talks that I've had with her recently. I've been like a trial, she's been my trial manager for a few months now. We are both from Long Island. I'm from Nassau. She's from Suffolk County, and she has been a hoot to talk to. Like no holds barred. That's probably enough said. And,
Right.
but I think that she has worked with a lot of, a good handful of A-list actors. So I'm hoping that uh, I'm hoping that we can do well together. So far so good. So that's, I guess, my initial story. It's kind of one thing that's kind of funny is literally tomorrow night, uh, there's a bar that I've been to recently. It's actually right across the street from Universal Studios.
Hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of live near there. And it's called the Universal Bar and Grill. And I had always, like several years ago, uh, I've started doing karaoke. I found it fun. And I find it fun. I try to be serious when I get up there. But uh, and since the pandemic is weaning out, it's time to get back into that. And this bar and grill, they intersperse their karaoke with a uh, stand-up night for
Hmm.
comedy stand-up. I have never yet done, stand-up comedy. I happen to be in a group called The Table for the industry, which I may have mentioned before. I'm still going there every other week. One night I was giving my spiel, and they're still doing Zoom also because of the pandemic.
Right.
But there's somebody that made the comment to me like, "Have you ever done stand up?" And I said no, but I think although my acting dream is to have a is dramatic, to have a recurring role on a dramatic series on TV or something like that. But if I got a break on a comedy series, would I take it? Yes, no question. So anyway, tomorrow night I'm playing with the idea of trying stand up for the first time because I think that when I talk, I can get on a roll that can be kind of funny. People sort of look at me like, are you talking? Are you saying something? But you never know what the listener's thinking. And I'm thinking I may go for broke tomorrow. The worst that can happen is like crash and burn. But I think I did that on my first karaoke song many years ago when I was visiting a friend in Atlanta. I'd never heard of karaoke, and I did two songs. The first one,
Hmm.
it's like a Beach Boys song, and I didn't know what I was doing. It was terrible. The second one, I think I started to catch on. We'll see. So that's where I am right now.
Well, that's amazing. That's amazing that you're doing that and keep it going.
Yeah, it's like tomorrow. Like I keep on inviting friends to go there, and they keep on being busy, which is the way people are in this town. In this world, they're always busy. But I figure uh, if I go there, the last time I was there, uh, somebody was doing it was either stand up or karaoke, one of the two. It might have been the
Hmm.
stand. But anyway, they had a friend that was taping them, and the friend, they were just hovering and just walking around, and they knew what they were doing. That's what it seemed like. And so I'm going to have my camera tomorrow and see what I can do. If it's worthwhile, it'll go on my YouTube page, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. We'll see. And other than that, I am, you know, it's it's funny, but in the last year or so, I think I got more commercial auditions than I'd had in the last several years. I
Hmm.
haven't booked anything yet, but the manager knows that I am in SAG, and that's the kind of work I wanted to do. So I hope that I'm hoping that the what is it? The vote is in the affirmative
Yes,
because
I totally agree. I'm so happy the vote happened,
yeah,
and we're back to business, 100%.
we're hoping. We feel like if it does fail, we'll go back to ground zero. That's what it feels like. But what hopefully it'll be passed. I mean, the one thing that a lot of us regret is, I mean, I was not on the picket line all that much. The days that I was there, I could see how people loved the picketing line because of the networking that happened. It's a bad reason to like the picket line because everybody wanted to be working, but
Hmm.
they ended up networking, which is that is a good thing in itself. But hopefully, whenever you're out the door, being with people, whether you're at a bar doing whatever, you know, you could be networking and it seems like as the cliche goes, if you're stopped by a policeman in this town, they're in SAG. So I mean, that's one of the cliches. Yeah.
Well, that's true. So partly, I'm so glad the SAG's over, but my next question for you, pardon me, but a lot of people may be wondering this, is that how do you look at, do you believe that in this entertainment industry that there is still a lot of competition going on? If so, if that is a yes, or do you believe that there's not really a competition?
I believe there's a heck of a lot of competition. It's surprising that when I was growing up, we had three TV networks, four tops. And of course, now the number of networks, if you have cable, you know, is it seems like millions, let alone the streaming
Mhm.
networks. It seems like there's always new ones coming in. So there's, a huge number. And yet my impression of the competition is that it hasn't changed. I knew when I was coming out here, you're facing an impossible task. Yeah, I mean, uh, I don't know why I'm out here. I do know I have no plans to give up, which
And that's wonderful. That was my last previous guest said that as well. This is a passion. If you don't have a passion for what you're doing, then
yeah,
why you keep going, right? But if you have passion, you keep going. So my
yeah.
next follow-up, my question for you is, um, what is your passion that makes you, as yourself, Larry, that keep pursuing this acting job and this acting roles? And as speaking for yourself.
It's I know that I don't know if I said this in my last interviews, but like I mean, when I was a teenager, I could not see everything that was on TV, even then. But each week I got the TV guide. I read it for a half hour, just the articles, seeing what was on. And so I knew what was happening. And I think even then I said, wouldn't it be funny if if I retired and moved to Los Angeles? little did I know that was what was going to happen. And I have a friend, won't mention any names. In that case, I went to Playhouse West for a year.
Hmm.
I'd never heard of Sanford Meisner before I came out here. I had heard of, Stanislavski, I guess those. I'd read books on them as a youngster, but I never heard of Sanford Meisner. So it was good to be exposed to him. Um, and so the point, oh yeah, my first week at Playhouse West, I met this guy, moved back to Indiana. That's where he is now, but he is serious in his own way.
Well, that's good. And you
But
know, what is your advice and your opinion for anybody? Well, let's rewind a little bit. I'm sorry. What would you tell a 7-year-old Larry
yeah,
again if you could go back?
well, I guess you have to be realistic. Statistics tell a story, and the chances of getting a break out here are very small. But one thing that my father happened to tell me a lot of things when I was growing up that were things that a kid should hear, which is good,
That answer that that answers my question. Hopefully answers a lot of audience's
Yeah,
question as well. And it all comes down, pardon me again, it all comes down to the
yeah,
passion. If you don't
yeah.
have passion,
What he told me was anything you really want to do, you can do,
amen.
which is a priceless thing to say to a kid, you know. And so that's, I mean, I know that I had certain fantasies as an adolescent, thinking this is the kind of program I would like to be on. I watched different dramas when I was a teenager, and I thought I would like to be on one of those, have a recurring or regular role on those, if not starring in one of those series, uh, being on set, uh, acting with the partner, being in the scene where you're playing the part of a character, but you are connecting with another person, and you hopefully forget about what's around you because you're on a set. There's a lot of lights, million people around you, but you're concentrating on a
Hmm.
certain thing. That was the acting fantasy I had back then, which I continue to have. So yeah, I guess it's really you. If you can, you should really go for what you would like to do.
And that's another good point. No, if you the passion, like I was saying earlier, the
Yeah,
passion is
yeah,
the path. If this is what you want to do,
yeah,
go for it, right? And in my previous guest, I have to say exactly, he mentioned, if you don't love what you're doing, then why are you
yeah,
doing it, right? But if you love what you're
yeah,
doing, you
yeah,
keep doing it. And so
yeah,
and that's a good point.
yeah. I know that with my old uh, manager, yeah, Kate Fluke. I mean, she was great, and I actually took some classes with her. And like one night, we had a crying night because an actor should be able to draw tears. The exercise scene I got was it was a drama, a sad one, but I took a memory from my teenage years that was a happy one. It was like I have a family member who got some good news over the phone, and I was in the room. And when I thought about that, the tears started to come.
Hmm.
And so I found out in the exercise that night, I was able to use that, and the tears came. So uh, it's I don't know. I mean, I've had some instances like when I was in Playhouse West, they encouraged us to go to different classmates' homes, groups of us, to do exercises with each other, repetition, whatever. And I remember there was one time I was with
Hmm.
another classmate in a scene with them. We were doing repetition. All of a sudden, I broke down. I didn't know why, but everybody that was in the room was cheering me. It's a breakthrough. And I thought, whatever. It's like you don't know why you break down, but hopefully you can use that kind of thing. Um, yeah, because that's my dream role. Hopefully
Right.
it'll get me an Oscar. Shut up, Larry. Whatever.
So also my next question for you is how do you as how do you get out of a character when they say cut?
I don't think for me it's hard to. Um, yeah, I don't see myself as living in a character because I know there's some A-list actors that do live in a character, but I don't really get out of one. Find that hard. I mean, one funny thing that happened, it was last year. I did two short films last year. One of them starred Eric Roberts, which was, great to act opposite him. But the other one, I played identical twins on my IMDb page. You can see the poster for that, which is really good. But there was one scene where, it was a long scene and I didn't have the lines down. And it was kind of interesting that it may have been the assistant director, I'm not sure, but he was talking to me over, from backscene, and he said, Larry, do your lines, repeat after me. This is what you do.
Mhm.
And I thought, Larry, you do as you're told. And I think it turned out fine because I was, following instructions, and I think it was okay. Unfortunately, it's still going through film festivals, so the public hasn't seen it yet. And so I think I did the job. And the funny thing was, after that, I went back to the makeup room,
Mhm.
and it's funny, our makeup person, I digress, but I don't know if you remember Hogan's Heroes.
Mhm.
Yeah, Bob Crane, Uh, I never watched that really, but I was where it was on. But his daughter, Karen Crane, she does makeup in this business. She was doing our makeup. I called her, she's really great person. Anyway, I went back to makeup because I had set my stuff there. I sat down. That's where I broke down. It's like nobody knew I was breaking down. I wasn't making it, but it's like the pressure of doing the scene and to do a job, come back, relax, break down, and then have lunch, go back to work. So, uh, but as for your question about how do I get out of a character? Well, I guess I don't know. It's just you do the job, connect with your partner. That's what acting is, and for that moment, try to live as the character,
Mhm.
their motivations, and you know, backstory. Think of their life. I mean, for that moment, you are the character. When they say cut, uh, back to usual. And then, that's my philosophy right now.
Wow, that's good. I totally agree with you. My the tough question is, it's I now can mention this, the SAG strike is over,
Mhm.
and it took a long time and I'm glad 100% it came to a deal. And um for you as an actor and a lot of us is that, you know, how for you, what was going through your mind during
It's it's kind of funny. I mean, I I haven't mentioned my castmate Nico up until this point. I worked opposite him in both the short films last year. He's been in the business 40 years. He's in SAG in some capacity. I'm not sure what, but I guess his guess was that the strike would last a year, if not a year and a half or something. That was his guess. He's been around for a long time. So I didn't know what to expect. It's good that it's, quote, over now, although we don't know for sure until December 5th, I think, is when voting is over for all the members, and that's when we'll get a final thing. But I didn't know what to expect. Um, and I it's yeah, I don't know. Um, Nico has had this opinion that, I mean, he's seen a lot of the business, like 40 years ago, we had three networks and the studio system. I think that ended. I'm not sure when the studio system ended in terms of, when you had contracts with the studios, but it seems like it's entirely different now than it was 20 years ago. So, and we don't know what direction it's going to be going in, because streaming obviously it's very important now. And will that change? I don't think so. So it's there's that, and I guess I happen to be in the union now. I mean, like there are people that I've talked to that have gotten FICOR, and I have no serious intention right now of going FICOR. That's not my plan, but you know, and the to some people, when they say indie film, they that is synonymous with non-union. Now, that's not strictly the case, because my two films last year, I think, would have been called indie films. They were short films, but they had to be SAG because, I'm in SAG, so I made a contract with SAG for them. But to a lot of people, in SAG, indie equals non-union, which I don't know what the correlation there, what the percentage is. So I guess there's a lot of films that I would like to do, but I cannot at this point because they are non-union.
Right.
Yeah. So, but my new manager has been, well, I guess I've had a fair number of submissions in the last several months, and not that many auditions, but a lot of submissions, which is good. But as we know, the competition it's really something, really something. So I guess you just have to be aware of the likelihood of having, there's different levels of success, obviously.
100%.
So,
If and if you didn't mind me asking that, but that I just wanted to see what your opinion was, and but it's just I for me, I'm so happy, and about me, about the show, and and
yeah,
um
yeah,
I, and by me interviewing a lot of actors and actresses and directors and producers on my
yeah,
show, and they all tell different stories about what really is their why they chose this, and this is their passion. They love what they're doing, and
yeah.
almost every single one of them said, if I don't have the passion, I don't have the love, I wouldn't be doing this. And this is why I'm doing this, and you have different people from every different state. It doesn't have to be in LA or in
Mhm.
California. They
Yeah,
just love what they're doing. And I totally agree, because if you don't love what you're doing, then why pursue?
right. Life is short.
I wish life wasn't short, but unfortunately, I'm sorry, but it is
I
true.
I feel like I graduated high school last week. It wasn't last week. So,
And you're not I'm pretty sure majority of Americans, except the kids and high school kids, but I'm pretty sure they all were thinking, wow, I wish I was still in high school.
that's sort of the way I feel a lot of the time. I mean, I don't, in high school. I mean, I was in the drama club. Thespian society. Oh yeah, and yet they were not my clique really. They were friendly, but they were not,
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
ones that I hung out with. But I mean, it's I think I knew that. I mean, seventh grade, the guidance counselor said, find a club, and I thought, drama club, yep. And so it was bit parts for the most part, but I thought, I don't care, I'm going to be there, and whatever. Uh, yeah. So recently, this woman who I was in high school with, not the same class, but we were both in the drama club, she thought she saw me in a commercial. And she thought maybe it was somebody else, but I wish, because if I could ever get a SAG commercial, I would jump in it. No, no question. But
You
no,
never know.
you never know. True. Yeah, because when I'm supposed to have a one-on-one with the new trial manager, Jacqueline, next week, and she's across town, but I'm looking forward to seeing her. My acting coach that I'm with right now, I've been with him for a while. He has said, "This is the information you should get together for her to let her know what you have so far and what you should be working on. Casting directors that I want to get in front of, that kind of thing." Which, yeah, that goes without saying. So uh, I hopefully that'll be a productive meeting with her.
That's good. I hope so too. And I'm so happy about your new managers and everything. So,
Yeah.
so proud of you. Uh, my
So
my next question for you is, what is your advice for anybody who wants to get into acting?
well, jokingly, I say don't. I mean, that's jokingly. No, I mean, you know, and like what my father had said, like anything you really want to do, you can do. And I think no matter who it is, like your reason to go into acting is personal. And so it's what's important to you. And if you have the means to do it, I mean, because I don't know how people do it today.
Hmm.
If come out here, I mean, Atlanta is the new scene for acting. I guess New York also, and any place around the country, because people, they're probably shooting movies any state. But uh, you have to hang on, um, be realistic. I mean, because everybody has to earn a living, but if you really want to do it, you can find a way and look towards people that can inspire you. That I mean, we can all use mentors that know the business, that can give you advice. That's the thing. Create relationships, as that cliche goes. Uh, I'm still not sure how to form relationships because
Hmm.
I'd like to have relationships with casting directors in terms of common interests. And I have a page of dream casting directors that my acting coach saw and thought and said, "Yep, those are the key ones for what you want to do. You want to get in front of." So that, and so if the manager has advice, I'm listening.
Yes, 100%, 100%.
And
My next
mhm.
question is, do you believe that beginner actors should go to acting school or not?
Well, in general, I would say yes, because at the moment, I can thank the pandemic to be in I mean, my current acting coach, like he's the Actors Collective, Mark Doherty. I've been going to him for several years, and he seems to know the business. We're still on Zoom from the pandemic, 15 minutes each week. But if you go to an acting class, chances are you're going to get advice.
Hmm.
And and he's been giving me a lot of advice, and which is good. And one personal advice. Whoop, my cat just tried to jump up here. Anyway, uh, one personal advice that I live by is if you spend 10 or 15 minutes on any given day doing what just working on some project that you have to get done, feel good about that. Um, Mark was telling me to get together certain information for the manager for next week, and I sat down last night. I was going to do half the job, but I sat down, got on a roll. My auditions from last year, he said, make a spreadsheet with all this information, get it together because it might be useful for her.
Hmm.
And I got on a roll, and I think I finished it. And he said, send it to me by Wednesday of this coming week. I sent it to him last night in case he has comments, because I'll be talking to him one more time before the actual meeting.
Hmm.
So if he has advice, I'll say yeah, because I'll have an hour or two with her maybe, and obviously we'll want to find out what I should be doing, if I should do an intensive with any given casting director, I, they cost a lot of money, so I don't want to do a lot of intensives, but pick one to do an intensive with. I'll be listening to what she says. Hopefully she has good opinions based on the time she's been in this business, which I think is quite a while. So it's there's people around us that can give good advice and feel good about anything you accomplish on a
Mhm.
given day. Yeah, feel good about that, and the more you do, the better. But if it's only 10 or 15 minutes you do on a given day, feel good about that, and then think about the next thing you might be doing, because I get frustrated. I'll tell you, it feels like everybody around me is accomplishing so much, but you know, as a friend of mine once said, calm down, Larry. So it's
Right, 100%. That's a good
yeah.
advice. Thank you for sharing that for the audience. And
Uh,
again, you're, you're always, I love all having you on my show, and you're always welcome back on my show.
uh, Great to have you there. You're always a fun interview. Thanks for what you're doing here.
Well, I appreciate it. I love what I'm doing, and I love having you on my show, and you're always welcome back.
Okay, well, so I guess um,
You know,
uh,
but I will mention this real quick. Pardon me, I'm sorry there. Um, for for me when I say, "Oh, you're always welcome back," because I'm being so kind, and it's just I love saying to all that. I'd say that to all my actors actually, because it's not the show is not about me; it's about you. It's about my guests that come on my show, um, and I love what I'm doing. This is my passion, and that's what it all comes down to
yeah,
being,
well, it's about us and what we can provide for the listeners in terms of any inspiration they can get. So,
yeah,
yeah.
100%, Larry. And it's your hope, our hope actually is that whoever watches this is that don't go for your passion. Don't let anybody turn you down,
Mhm.
and like your father said, you can if you want to be anything, go for it. And
That's that's what it amounts to. Yeah, yeah. It's like life is short, so if you can pursue something, do it in any way you can, and you never know. You just never know.
I
Good
wish
things
life
can.
wasn't short, but
Yeah,
you
we do wish that.
but we all have that. Life just every year, we wish we just could live forever and every generation, but unfortunately,
Little did I know the things that mattered when I was a teenager. This doesn't matter. But
no.
the
Right.
small stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. When
So
you
no,
get older. So
you realize that.
I didn't believe life was short when you were younger, but now it's like you're
You
right.
realize. And so, you have to do what you can, just break any of the rules that's not illegal, but that's okay. If it's not legal, no, you don't want to do that.
Right,
But
Larry, that's true. Don't break any rules that's not legal, but
yeah, because you have to stand out from the crowd, but you don't want to break the law. So yeah,
right.
so yeah,
Yes. And
well,
that's 100% true.
yeah,
And thank you for you saw my last show with my last previous guest,
yeah,
and appreciate that. And
yeah. Yeah, it's just it's funny. I mean, this Brett, uh, yeah, Brett Colbert. It's as I was saying, like there's a website, Karmalicity, where a lot of people look at each other's IMDb pages to up the storm meter, whatever. And I'd seen Brett several times, and he sent me a friend request, and I answered it. And yesterday, uh, he put a funny meme on Facebook saying, I think he and his wife were doing a self tape, and the police came. And I thought that's funny. Maybe he was, doing something, who knows what they were doing, but it brought to mind when I was at Playhouse West 10 years ago. I was doing an exercise and we didn't have a permit. We were at a Burbank police station where we were doing a holdup, and I think I was holding a toy gun, and somebody passing on the street probably saw it and called 911. You can't blame them. The police came and uh, they actually, what is it? We all, everybody, every participant had to give their name to the police, identifying information. And we said, yep, we're doing it. And so I answered, Brett's post yesterday, a summary of what happened. It was embarrassing and we were lucky. You never know what might have happened. And he replied back saying that was gold because it was funny.
So
Anyway,
what did the police officer say?
well, this was 10 years ago, and I think they looked at us like, no permit, that's a no-no, they probably said. And they said they had to take identifying information from all of us, which we provided. You cooperate. And I'm lucky because, it's like one of the police officers might have had a gun trained on me because I think I was holding a toy gun. And so obviously I was listening carefully. If he said, put the gun down, come out with your hands up, then I would not have hesitated because it just goes to show when they say you need a permit, especially if you're outside, you need a permit. It's best to get a permit. Right? I've done guerrilla filming once in my life for one of my short films way back, and I didn't like that because in the scene there were two people yelling at each other. It was early on a Sunday morning, but I thought if somebody's walking by, I don't like this. And so we did it, but it's like a lot of people love guerrilla filming as necessary. I'd rather not, but that's an editorial. So yeah, so just one of those funny stories.
Wow, Larry. Oh, so funny. I can't. I'm trying to imagine me being a police officer pulling up and then see you guys come out.
Yeah, because it's like a passersby on the street. They were driving by, and that looks fishy. Called 911, and you can't blame them. So I don't know what a permit would have cost, but by definition, you should let police know we're going to be doing a hold-up scene at this location just to let you know at this time, and they would have known. And so it was certainly educational. So
Wow.
yeah. So maybe after this interview, I should send some Facebook messages to some people just to let their names know that let them know their names were mentioned, but not in vain. So
Yes.
yes, looking forward to
Oh,
seeing this on
Larry.
YouTube when you can get it out.
Yes, I'll let you know when this show's out. So thank
Yeah.
you, Larry, for coming on my show. I appreciate it. And you're always welcome back on my show.
So take care for now.
Yes, and let's stay in touch. I can't wait to have you back.
Yeah, same here.
I'll
Okay,
talk to you soon.
take care.
All right,
Bye.
bye-bye.